Hello. No countdown to intro today. A bit of an impromptu live stream. We spoke to Rhiannon Goodall yesterday about her situation with the cavity wall installation that she received from Green Renewable Wales, which was done through Bridgend County Borough Council, which Hugh David in the statement said hers isn't one of the properties done by that, but it was, according to their own list. Um, I didn't see the statement from Councillor David until after I finished the live stream because it came into my email during the live stream, so I didn't see that. Today, Chief Executive, I think it's Mark Shepherd, I can't really remember, I'm getting confused with the old one, um, did an announcement. I'm going to play that announcement about Arbed here. I am hinted at on here as representing misinformation. Um, I will address that afterwards. But anyway, I'm going to play the clip of what he said in the council meeting today. I'll remove myself. Sorry, there we have it. We have the report. I said you needed to watch at the beginning, just before Mark Shepherd actually started talking there, because this was done as an announcement. And the reason why it was done as an announcement, not as a report or as an urgent item in the meeting, because if it's done as an announcement in the council, there's some strange procedure that means you cannot question the person giving the announcement or the relevant cabinet member giving that announcement, which is very, very cowardly there, because I'm sure there'd have been lots of questions from lots of councillors in regards to this. Um, so, money has been approved by Welsh Government. They're just waiting for the final grant letter to confirm everything. But they have been told they can spend money retrospectively, means they can do it. They can spend it before they get the final grant letter. The business plan has all been approved and everything, which is very worrying to me as well. They've applied for a certain amount of money. I think it's 6 million overall. I think was said in that. I can't remember. I believe it was plus 800 odd thousand from the council. They've submitted their business plan, but they have no clue what is actually needed, because, as I said there, they're now in the process of hiring the technical specialists and the people to find out what remedial work is needed. So before they even know what is actually needed, they've applied for the money, but yet that may not be enough. Yes, they can get more later on, which was confirmed there if it was needed. But there was an important bit there. He said that we have no delay, and we can start moving forward. And then said we have a delay. So it this can't. They wanted to start work last month in November 2022. Didn't happen because apparently the delay with the government. They could have prepared by getting a technical specialist in place, getting everything that's needed, having it out to tender to a company to actually do the work. That would cut down on any further delays that are now going to happen because they haven't already done that. We could, the excuse would be we couldn't do that because we didn't have the funding from the Welsh Government. You could have used your 800 odd thousand for that. You'd have had plenty left over to do those processes, and they'd be in place to stop any further delay for these residents. But it was funny that he was saying there's no delay, and then straight away said we're going to have a delay, and because they're having to go back because it's 6 months after they thought they were going to get the money that it's got moved on, and obviously things moved on. I'm guessing procedures have changed, prices have changed, or what. I don't know the ins and outs. He didn't clearly explain the ins and outs why. So it's clearly the thing. Another thing that struck me there was no apology again to residents. The only apology they've received, or supposedly received, the council have actually received the apology from the leader of the council in a council meeting the other year. But residents still haven't received an apology. They're going to be speaking to all members of the area, so that's MS Hugh Davis, Chris Elmore MP, Chris Davis and Paul Davis, who are representatives on the Council of Kyra. I'm wondering if the community councillors or the town councillors from my state town council get briefing as that as well. They will also be asking these members for best ways to engage the public. Now, they're going to be asking Hugh Davis the best way to engage the public. This is the MS, the member of the Senate, who ignored residents up until January this year, is when he first sent his first ever correspondence in regards to this Arbed, to everything these residents have been going through. So he's ignored them till January this year, and now they're going to consult him on best way to consult the public. You can't make this stuff up. To be honest, he's a member of the Senate. Yeah, he may have a right to be there, but he should be excluded. He's ignored these residents for years. now in with this particular problem, and that is unconscionable by a member of the Senate, somebody who's there elected to represent you, to help you with times. But they said it's going to be going over two financial budgets, 23, 24, and 24, 25. So potentially these residents can face another 2 winters, not including this one, another 2 winters before the last person's house is repaired and up to standard. In the meantime, these residents are having to spend more on their gas, uh, more more on their energy to heat their homes, and they're not getting anything in return for that. Not even the smallest offer of don't pay your council tax. We will exempt you from council tax for this period of time because you are having to spend extra, especially at this time cost of living crisis. Okay, it's not going to cover much in the grand scheme of things, but it's still something less to worry about. I find it's very disingenuous, this was, and there was a hint that there's been misinformation about how many homes are affected. 104 homes are affected. How many the council are responsible? The council are responsible for 25. Now, it's not just me who's reported that the 109. That's been all the news programmes have said it for the last few years. It's 109 properties. The council, up until now, have neglected to correct them. They haven't corrected them in interviews or anything like that. It's now that they're correcting people, and they're saying they've been telling people for a long time it's only 25 homes that they were responsible for. Okay, well, what do we expect us to do if you don't correct us at the time? If you keep letting these things go on, you can't blame it if people keep saying it. Okay, it may be wrong information, but declare it misinformation is wrong, because misinformation implies there's something nefarious going behind it when there's not. They are my objective of the news programs are to highlight the situation, to get it moving a lot quicker than it has been, to get Bridgend Council to do something more than they have been. I hope residents are happy that they've got a little bit of timeline now, some engagement. He said it was supposed to start November 2022. Now it's looking like May next year, and he was very tentative on May, and said again that that there could be delays because they're having to go back to the Senate. And it's saying, well, people say we think we go down to Cadiz or to the Senate and grab this money and then bring it back with us. We don't. We get it afterwards. We get reimbursed the money. Okay, if that's the case, why did you wait all this time? Welsh Assembly announced to the Welsh public and to everybody that they were going to fund this, they were going to do this. Okay, it still had to go through a business proposal, but they've made this is going to be funded. Get on and get started with the work. You could have been 6-7 months down the line now in the process. Instead, it's another 6-7 months further on. Nothing started. We're going to have to wait another 4 or 5 months before something does actually get started. And so we're talking over a year to that point, about a year to that point, where you could have been near enough on terms. You could have been a year ahead of where you are now, of where you're going to be in May. It's not fair on any of these residents. I haven't been able to get hold of Rhiannon. Come on, I believe she's working tonight. And they're on about best ways of engaging with the public. Ring them, write them a letter, go knock on their door. That's the least they deserve, is you going onto their door to tell them out your day. I know you run a council, I know that. You've got other officers to help you with that. Same with Hugh David. You've got cabinet members, you've got other councillors to help you. Over a period of time, go knock on each resident's door that's affected by this. We're deeply sorry for what we've done. We're going to sort this. How are you coping now? is there any way we can help further in the meantime while you're still doing this? The public deserve that face-to-face apology, and it's not fair that they're still not getting it, and they're still hiding behind procedures now. They're all fine, well and dandy with procedures now. Back when this was awarded, procedures didn't really matter then. Um, and it took many years when many people knew in the council, a long time before that this gone on, that we had to have an interim, had to have an investigation done into it. And that was done at the behest of the previous chief executive on his way out of the door, which well done to him, but who knew? It's been a massive cover up from start to finish. Nobody's been punished for it. The only people who've been punished are the residents and now council taxpayers and people who pay tax to the UK government, because this money is going to come out of part of this money that we get from the UK government. So it's coming out of everybody's pockets. The council are not getting punished. Phil White, who was the director of two of the companies, Green Renewable Wales, or at least two of the companies, and another one, not been punished, what was never punished, wasn't even suspended from being a cabinet member, wasn't even fired from being a cabinet member, wasn't even suspended as a councillor. I think it's ridiculous that councillors can do something like this and there is no consequences whatsoever. We have a councillor code of conduct we have to abide by, but yet there seems to be no punishment when you don't abide by it, when you don't do anything to uphold that, when you don't follow procedures. You've got policies and procedures in council you're supposed to follow, and yet when it's not followed, nothing happens to the person that breaks those procedures. And it's a failing. In Westminster, if somebody has done something wrong, investigation going on. I know there's one now going on in Westminster and nothing's happened to the person yet, but normally that person gets suspended from the party they represent while they have the whip taken away. So essentially they become an independent member for that period while the investigation's ongoing. Nothing like that happened to Phil White. Just allowed to carry on as communities, the cabinet member for communities in that time. Oh, sorry, my voice is going. I'm a little bit thingy today. It's not fair on residents. It's not fair on taxpayers now that we're having to cover this. Okay, I can't bring myself into being one of those people. As I'm currently unemployed and in emergency accommodation, my council tax is covered. So it's not me who's paying for this. It's you, residents, people who think. I hope somebody like Tom Gifford sees this and brings this up to the Senate, that councils, it's not just in Bridgend this has happened, it's happened in other councils. Caerphilly was one of them, where something seriously went on and investigations going on. People were suspended and put on leave I think it went on for about 3 years and they were on full pay for that time. And in the end, nothing happened to that person for corruption. And things don't happen. Councillors should be held to the same standard as Westminster, to the Senate, to people who serve there. We're there serving the public, and it's public money at the end of the day that's being used. I'm getting lots of messages here. Sorry. Yeah, somebody just said it's like leaving the lion in charge of the planet. Yeah, it is. Yeah, nothing gets done. We as councillors, be it community councillors, county borough councillors, we're still there serving the public. We're still there as stewards of public funds, looking after public funds. But yet, when councillors do something bad or do something wrong, they're not held accountable. They face no consequences. They don't get arrested. They don't get banned from being a councillor. Only if they ever get arrested or a criminal record, they can be banned from being a councillor. Or if they quit for some reason, they have to wait a certain period of time um, before they can stand again. Um, it's ridiculous, and this needs to be looked at because election laws are devolved to Wales, so it's something the Senedd can do. Um, that there are sterner punishments for councillors. That there are some punishments for councillors. It doesn't have to be sterner. It's just some punishments, some form of punishments, because we should be held accountable. We're not. We shouldn't be held to a lesser standard than somebody in Westminster, somebody in the Senedd. We're still there serving the public, so that's will probably be a crusade. I'll see if I can talk to Tom Gifford about that. I've got the feeling if I did call a public meeting now for residents and see if Bridgend County Borough Council representatives come, so the leader, Mark Shepherd, and have Hugh Anker Davis there to answer the question, why didn't we do anything beforehand? I have a feeling they won't come. They seem to be scared of the public. They're hiding from the public. They're hiding from other councillors who can ask questions as well. This was borne out today by the fact that this was done as an announcement and not asked in urgent questions or done as a report, which it should have been. It was very, very cowardly of Mark Shepherd, of Hugh David. I invited Hugh David to come on here. He couldn't make it. He was busy. I understand that. I'm happy for Hugh David or Mark Shepherd or anybody to come on at any time. Just give me a message, say, look, I'm happy to do a live stream. This is when I'm available. Let's arrange something. Okay, fine. I'll work around you. I'll do what I'll work around you and do it for when it's easiest for you. But they do need to answer some questions, not to me, not answer my questions or any council questions. They need to ask some residents questions. Why has this taken so long? Why was an investigation more important than getting the work done first? Why haven't you prepared before you got the grant funding when you've already offered up 800,000 of your own, the council's money, to be put in? You could have used part of that money to prepare getting specialists ready in place, getting the tender out and see, because you know exactly at that point the specialists have told you how much, exactly what is needed. The tender could go out and then the companies could go, this is how much it's going to cost. All better for your business plan because you have a better idea of how much money it's going to cost in the end, instead of saying, oh, we are short on money, can we have some more from the Welsh Government? 6-7 months down the line, they turn around and say, yeah, go on then. And then there's another 7-month delay for the last people who need work done. Everything is done arse backwards. I understand the need for doing things properly and correctly now, especially after what happened. It's got to be, but it doesn't need to take this long. Things don't need to take that long, and even if they do, and you can prepare certain areas because you know it's got to be done. It has to be done. You can't leave people like that. And you are very lucky. The council are very, very, very lucky that they haven't been sued at this point. I think that I'm no legal expert, or really not, but I think there would be an excellent case for everything that's gone on, especially when it comes to people's health, to the costs that they were promised they would save, and in the end they paid more. They paid more. That they should get reimbursement for that. The fact that some people have had to redo their houses themselves, that is ridiculous. They should be reimbursed straight away. There shouldn't be any hanging about with that. They can sort all this while they're sorting the work out, saying, this is okay, this is what you've been through, this is your health condition, this is what you were supposed to say, this is what we're going to give you. There's been no mention of that conversation because it's been that we need to get this work done first. You can do both at the same time. You're not limited to just doing one thing at a time. So, yeah. So I thought I'd have a quick rant. I have done post and I have had a response from um, Rhiannon, one of those bit bings, and that was from Rhiannon. I'm not going to say what the response is because it was a private message to me. It's not an official response. Maybe I can get her on to give her a response sometime. I think she may be working tonight. It's only a quick live stream, so thank you for watching. For a couple of people bouncing in and out. There's nobody watching at the moment, so I'll say goodbye and see you again soon. Thank you very much.